Hey, everybody, NFT fans, welcome back to the ENVELOP Podcast. I'm your host, Eugene Crypto MC, and I'm here today with Gianni D'Alerta. He's the blockchain and marketing consultant from Miami, Florida. His mission is bringing the gaps between blockchain, technology, and marketing. And I love this word. So, Gianni, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Eugene.
I always prefer to start with the personal story of my guest in crypto. Tell us, how did you get into the blockchain space? What were your main incentives?
For me, I actually worked for Alienware, and there was a coworker that was mining Bitcoin before 2013, and I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was crazy. And then 2013 rolled around November with all the Silk Road stuff that happened, and I got recaptured into the idea of this cryptocurrency. So I did a deep dive into the Bitcoin forums and just couldn't get out. And I launched a website called 51attack.com on that New Year's, where I sold t-shirts for crypto, trading, basically getting 47 different cryptocurrencies and trading them up to Bitcoin, finding a provider that would actually make the t-shirts for Bitcoin. And because of the t-shirt business, I was invited into the house the house where the Ethereum group was here in Miami the night before they announced it during the North American Bitcoin conference. And so that sealed the deal for me as far as blockchain and Ethereum and that whole world.
Yeah, you've been staying in the IT industry for more than 20 years. You witnessed the big Dotcom Bubble. That's a story. You're a historical person, Gianni. How was it different or similar, I would love to ask you, comparing with ICO 2017 or NFT 2020 hype, Dotcom Bubble with this hypes?
Well, for me, when I started, I was going to school for graphic design, but I was building websites, simple HTML sites. And I got my first job at an ISP, one of the first ISPs here in Miami, an ISP, internet service provider. And I applied, I had my resume on Monster, and I was basically hired for a startup, which started and ended within 3 months, went to another one, started and ended within 3 months as well. And then the bubble burst, and I went to work for Alienware right afterwards. So, but I wasn't in the funding side, but, similar to the excitement of what you could do, people had all these ideas. And then finally, we saw those ideas happen down the line in the future, but many of those ideas were around even then, right? They just didn't have the technology to build them yet.
I also like to talk to marketers because they know a lot. So I wanted to dedicate a huge part of our conversation today for the blockchain marketing. Let me start with the question, what blockchain projects do you help right now with the marketing?
So in particular, I've helped a couple. I hadn't been doing marketing directly for blockchain companies, but I did help in 2017, Anthony Diorio, one of the co-founders of Ethereum. He had the first multi-cryptocurrency wallet called Jax. I was there for a year and basically helped coordinate some of the branding projects and some of the marketing there. Then later on, now I work with TradeStation, which is a South Florida brokerage and crypto exchange. It's TradeStation Crypto, and there I help create content, scripts, different articles with my team, as well as provide strategy and whatnot. And then another little thing that I did, participate in different DAOs. So I helped Raid Guild on a particular presentation for Nifty Chess. And then later on, I met the guys at D.org who were building Web3 API, which was like a project to bridge Web 2 and Web 3. And they needed some rebranding or brand strategy. So I helped with a brand strategy session with them, and along with another designer named Mary. She did a fantastic job rebranding them and getting them into this world. But yeah, I think marketing in crypto right now is mostly up to the community. Community managers are really the true marketers, I think, in crypto right now.
Totally agree with you. How blockchain marketing is different or maybe similar comparing with traditional marketing in any other business areas?
I mean, I think depending on the size of the business, if it's a big project that's going to launch, they're going to want to do advertising in the traditional sense, as far as buying ads and things like that. For a long time, you could not, right? You couldn't buy ads on Facebook. At the beginning, you could. Later on, just even selling T-shirts, they stopped allowing you to sell T-shirts with Facebook advertising, of all things, because it said Bitcoin, right, or it said Ethereum. But I think right now, what most brands and people don't realize is building that community, creating those connections, being on conversing through like Twitter, crypto Twitter, engaging people, and building out that Discord channel or Telegram group, not just because you're sending information, but really engaging them, being authentic. That is quite challenging to do if you don't have the right people to do it for you.
Definitely. How do you personally choose blockchain projects to help them with marketing? Are there any restrictions for you?
Well, I don't like using the word, but that S word, as shitcoins, I think if you've been in it for a while, you have like a barometer of what you feel is red flags or things that you probably would not want to participate in. But right now, I have a limited amount of time, like most of us. So I have, a couple clients that I appreciate working with, and that's good for me. But there's other projects that I love finding that are developer driven, right? Like people that are building cool stuff, cool different apps, little tools and things like that, and kind of either helping them or just observing what they're doing and just seeing if something develops from it and potentially maybe helping them down the line.
You observe a lot of projects, I believe. What are the main marketing mistakes of them you would love to mention?
The main marketing mistakes, I would think, is not knowing the audience is important, right? And I think people think that just because, well, especially nowadays, you have a crypto component or you're adding crypto component, that people would just come. And that's one thing. But the other thing is, I believe that, just knowing that audience, knowing the journey that they're going to go on, how they find you, what's the next steps you're going to take them on. I think it's a mistake that they assume one tactic will win over the other. So not a very good answer. I apologize, but it's one of those.
How specifically do you help to the projects? What are your services for the blockchain projects?
So right now, mostly we do have like a content creation program where we have a group of writers that will help, write some content. It's quite challenging because if you are not like the individual within the company that's like really in the depths of what you're doing, writing technical content might be impossible for someone to do outsource. But for, creating, finding titles and ideas and creating a schedule and distribution of that content is something that we've helped with, as well as scripts for certain types of online video, as well as myself participating in webinars as a means to provide value for my clients, right? Those are different ways that we've helped, as well as strategy and just providing them different ideas and how to approach the market and go after it, and projects too, just consultative ideas for NFT projects, blockchain projects, how they should think about it, right?
Well, great answer. Let me switch to our core topic of our podcast, is NFT space. How did you get your first exposure with NFTs, and how do you explain, especially for non-crypto people, what the hell is NFT?
Well, the first exposure, it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if this was an NFT per se, but it kind of was. I actually posted in the Bitcoin forums like a JPEG of like a repeating Bitcoin with like snowflake pattern. I thought it would be good for them to print that out and make gifts for their family of Bitcoin things that they purchased. And I had put my Bitcoin address there, and somebody sent me $50 worth of Bitcoin. So even though it wasn't sold as a JPEG tied to the blockchain, kind of like that kind of started it off. But The first time I got in it or understanding it, I think many people that have been in crypto for a while would I was very observant of the EIPs, right? These proposals, because I always realized that when ERC-20 came out, that pushed off a whole new world of what you could do with Ethereum and crypto. So if you're watching those proposals, you can have like a leg up to see what the developers are really thinking about, right? And so I had seen the EIP for the NFTs. I thought that was phenomenal. And like right after that, while working at Jax, CryptoKitties came out. So they didn't even wait for it to be ratified or agreed on. They just went ahead and just did CryptoKitties. And that ruined the network for a very long time during that time, and it was like unbearable. But kind of that was the antithesis, and was when I started. Also, I built a GitHub awesome list of NFT projects, and I just started listing them out as I found them, and kind of having like a repo of places that I look for. So if other people wanted to know what I knew, I could just send them to the link.
Yeah, how do you explain what is NFT for non-crypto? Yeah.
I like to describe it like a dollar bill, right? A currency, right? So if I have that $1, I can use, in my case, a US dollar can probably be used anywhere in the world, where I could just give that dollar and get some goods for that dollar. But if I had a celebrity sign the dollar, or if I found an imperfection in the dollar, or the dollar had like a very special, it was torn, let's say, that dollar now is, may not be a dollar. Dollar may be $1,000 because a celebrity signed it, or it's a piece of art, or there's some uniqueness, right? So it's both fungible and non-fungible. Non-fungible being something that is one of one, right? And so in the NFT space, it's a one of one image, or an audio file, or a document, or anything. I do believe that everything in the next 5 to 10 years, when the technology develops, will be a form of NFT one way or another. Everything, all audio files, video files, documents, 3D files, everything will be in some way, shape, or form an NFT.
Totally agree. Every unique thing in digital or physical form.
Yep.
How do you see the NFT markets are quite young, a couple of years, no more. How do you see their main pains, problems, diseases, or challenges of NFT markets now?
Of the marketplaces, or just the market as a whole, the whole industry? I
think whole the industry, not the marketplaces, all the industry.
Gotcha. I think the biggest situation right now is just being aware that it's still bleeding edge, right? And that we're very early, even though there is an application that people are using, which is the marketplaces and the art and all that stuff. Things will develop that will change it again, right? And I always like to use the idea of, in the 90s during the dot-com boom, there was video and streaming online, and you could sit down and you and I could have a conversation and envision a independent network of people producing videos, for example, and getting paid for that and selling advertising for that. And that would have been YouTube, right? We could have thought of that, and I think many people did, but we didn't have high bandwidth, connections. We didn't have super encoding to produce this. The screens, you didn't have the mobile culture of people holding a phone in their hand to be able to interact the way that we interact. So you could see it, but you wouldn't have known all the different pieces or steps that you needed to get there. So I think we're kind of like in that step where we know, for example, that the title of our home will someday be some form of NFT, right? That deed or that title. But to get there, there's a lot of infrastructure that would have to be built beforehand. So I think it's premature to think that like we've hit it. I think there's still more to come. I think there's more to develop. I think that's, right now we're just early.
You've mentioned that every unique thing will likely be in form of NFT in a few years. How do you see the potential use cases of NFT beyond digital art, gaming, and metaverse?
So for me, I love the gaming aspect, by the way. Like, I think that's going to be a huge thing. The art side also has been great for blockchain in general as well, because it got people who would never own Bitcoin or crypto or had a wallet or whatnot to go seek it out and go see what this NFT thing is, right? Even the contractor that helped build my home, bought Gary V's VFriends. He actually went ahead and did all these steps, which you would think in a normal business wouldn't happen, because you're providing a lot of obstacles in which for people to do. But I believe documents of all sorts will be NFTs, and specifically contracts. I think it's going to be easier to the title of your home. I do believe keys, right? Like a key to your home, the key to your car, all that will be kind of like in that form. Maybe even medical information, right? So it may be, encrypted in such a way where it would be public, but I'm the owner of that data or that information, and I can send it to my doctor or to the hospital, and they can access that. But I'm still the controller of that. I'm still the owner of that. Another use case that I love to think about too is diplomas and academics, right? The fact that maybe through ENVELOP, right, you had a developer that started working with you, and after the first year, you give them a badge that said, first year junior developer, and the next year is a senior developer, right? And they go and decide that they want to work somewhere else. If they trust ENVELOP and they know that ENVELOP only gives it to their best, right? That credential might be more valuable than going to school, for example, right? So those are interesting use cases. I love the use case of domains. I worked in telecom too. I think DIDs and phone numbers as well could potentially be some kind of form of NFT, where if I don't have to go sign a document to say that I'm the owner of the phone, I can literally send you or sell you my phone number, or have it forever in a sense as an identifier. So there's lots of opportunities. There's so many interesting things that could be done with it.
Is that correct to say that NFTs have definitely already become the factor of so-called mass adoption of crypto we've been praying for in crypto community for years?
Yeah, I think it's like I said, like kind of a conduit for them to get involved. But at some point, probably in the future, the ideal thing is that people don't even understand or know that it's NFT. We know that, like NBA Top Shots, people know that it's an NFT, and they kind of ushered them into other ones. But they're not installing software, they're not getting crypto, they're buying with their credit card. They don't know it's an NFT, right? So I think at some point people may not even care or know that it is. We will care because we like this stuff, but I don't think they'll know or care. But maybe hopefully we still continue down this kind of like self-sovereign idea of owning your data and owning these assets, and we continue down that path, and more people will say, I want my own wallet. I want my own means to interact with this internet or this web, right? And so hopefully that continues, but I fear that people are not going to care about that, and there's going to be businesses that are just going to help people just work in this space easier. So, yeah.
How do you see our crypto future? How blockchain will have changed our world in, let's say, 10 upcoming years, in 2020 and 30?
I think it's I love Andreas Antonopoulos, right? I don't know if you ever watch him, but he's prolific.
I'm a fan of him, really.
Yes. And he has one lecture that I always tell people to listen to, is that inversion of infrastructure lecture, right? The idea of like this horse and buggy going down the street, and people and then a car going by and people laughing at it, that it was breaking down or it was dangerous or whatever. But as it became more efficient and better, right, the inversion of the street, instead of gravel, turned to pavement, and now the horse is not efficient on that street anymore, and the car now is surpassing it. And so I think crypto, not only financially, but I think also with governance and government and organizations, like with the ideas of DAOs and whatnot, it's going to be interesting. The governments may try to stop some of the development. They may embrace it as well, because it could also make government much more efficient, right? Where our monies and taxes would go to like the right places, and we'd be able to have full accountability to where that money goes to, and our votes really do count. I think blockchain will change that, and I think organizations will also be forever changed with the idea of DAOs and this kind of cooperative way to work and share, stuff, and still be capitalists as well, and make money and create revenue for people that maybe not have had access to this ever, in countries that they didn't have this ability to interact this way. So I think it's going to be very important.
Yeah, totally agree with you. You might have known this NFT guy, Andrew Stanwold, NFT star. He always asks his guests in his podcast, what NFT do you own? What is your favorite NFT? I don't want to put myself on your portfolio, but if you want NFT, what is the favorite one?
At first, even though I was an NFT, like I loved the NFT technology, I wasn't really collecting many NFTs because, I felt that, I'd collect one or two to experience what the experience was. But now, most recently, I've been kind of hooked and purchasing some. Obviously, Bored Apes are fascinating. Just the community aspect and the value they're building outside of just the art of it. Maybe they're just because of their first people, but they've done a very good job in captivating their community, providing them value by creating new characters and new excitement. I do love the idea of play to earn, right? These NFTs, like the Zed Run, which I don't have any of the horses, but I did start watching this project called Riot Racers, Riot.fun, which is the same idea, but you have cars and you can upgrade them with different NFT tune-ups. And for you to race, you have to race on a track that's owned by someone. For you to upgrade your car, you have to go to the mechanic shop to upgrade your car and pay the mechanic, which is owned by someone, right? So I just think that it's super interesting, the dynamics of building this game, selling the pieces of the game as a means to have capital to fund the creation of the game. And then when people start playing the game, the pieces can earn you money, right? So, I think just this is fascinating. There's going to be whole new businesses of people, young people that may want to be playing games, but they're going to get paid for playing games, or this whole little mini ecosystem, who knows? That's mind boggling. So those are the things that are most interesting to me right now.
Yeah, fascinating. You are an extremely interesting person, Gianni. How to follow you on the internet, and as an opportunity to meet your online or even offline events, maybe you are going to speak somewhere. Tell us.
Anybody can find me with my first and last name, Gianni D'Alerta, GIANNI DALERTA. I use that everywhere. I live in Miami, so there are time to time meetups or things that I may participate in. Obviously, during COVID, it's a little bit challenging, but been doing a lot of stuff with the city of Miami and the mayor of Miami. So there's going to be definitely opportunities. If someone were to meet, please reach out. If you're in Miami, I would love to have a cafecito with you, talk crypto. But that's what we do here in Miami, and any out of towner, we got to give them a cafecito or Cuban croqueta so that they can feel at home. So.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gianni. It's been extremely interesting to talk to you. Super educational. I love to talk to marketers. I really love. Ladies and gentlemen, you were watching to the ENVELOP Podcast. It is supported by the Nifty Protocol and DAO ENVELOP. Please like, share, comment, subscribe and channel, and hit the bell button for not missing the future episodes with great NFT guy from NFT and blockchain space, Gianni D'Alerta, blockchain marketing consultant, and Eugene Crypto MC. We're with you. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episodes. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.